I'd never seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen jiu-jitsu, but those guys are amazing.
Great honor to have Machado brothers.
Machado.
It's Carlos Machado.
This episode is sponsored by Stay Humble Coffee. Coffee is so good, it doesn't need to brag. Find it at stayhumblecoffee.com. Welcome to Coffee Time with Carlos Machado, where conversations flow as freely as the coffee. I really appreciate your time. Don't be shy. Share with your friends, subscribe, and come back whenever you feel like it. I'll be here waiting for you. All right, everybody. I'm here again at another episode of Coffee Time with Carlos Machado. And I have a good friend of mine who's also a local. So we got two great things at the same time. I sometimes take for granted the great people that I have around me. And when I called Sayif Saud, an accomplished MMA coacher of Fortis MMA and an accomplished lifelong martial artist, man, I had no clue how close he is. And I just gave him a call one time and he replied right away, and here we are. Now, occasionally we meet at different events here and there. I've been at his gym a couple of times, took some of my kids to go there, had a great time with him. But I got at least the opportunity to see both sides, Sayif on and off the mats, on and off the cage. And there's a human being story that's yet to be told. And that's pretty much, Sayif, the whole purpose of this conversation.
Yeah.
I love to learn the stories of other people.
Yeah.
And you strike me as somebody so amazing in many ways.
Thanks.
Because you don't have to tell me what you do. I see the fruits of your labor.
Thank you.
The caliber of your fighters. I remember going to one UFC. You didn't have one. You had 3 or 4 guys fighting on the same card.
I remember that day.
So for you guys out there to realize how much time sometimes and work it takes for you to get one contract with the UFC, and then you have someone that has 4 guys on the same night, right? So we're going to talk about the stable fighters that he has. And I can tell you, if not the best, for sure, one of the best MMA gyms in the country, in the world. So I hope you don't mind me bragging about you, because I say as I see it.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you. And what I'll tell these people here is and I told you, is when Carlos Machado calls you, you pick up the phone. When Carlos Machado texts you, you answer the text. And what I was saying, before we started was, when I came to Dallas, right?
How long ago?
2009.
Oh, wow.
And I went to Octagon.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Greg Seal's gym, right? That he had started. And there was all these black belts there. Robert DeFranco, Kenny McClure, Travis was there. And these guys, I see all these amazing black belts and all this culture, and all these guys say, yeah, we all train with Carlos Machado, the legendary Carlos Machado. And here's the story of the first black belt in Texas, or the first person to bring jiu-jitsu here, and all the lineage in DFW of what happened. And all these amazing, Kenny McClure, these guys. Kenny's amazing. Travis Luter went on to do amazing things. All these guys that come from this lineage. So whenever I talk to you, or I, speak with you, I run into you, I always tell you, because this is what I was inundated with.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary Carlos Machado, and the stories too. All the stories about, yeah, Carlos, he called me on the mat. Come on. And then he just plays with me. So it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I want to jump into your story.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to you first, I knew you had boxing background and judo. Those are big things for you.
Yep.
But then upon researching more about your background, you started at an early age.
I did.
I think you were 3 years old, right?
3.
When you started.
Yeah.
I was 4. So we're kind of like about the same time.
Family business.
Yeah, yeah. And then you had that trajectory where you evolved as a student. I also saw that you had a pro MMA career, that you got injured, but you're undefeated up to that point.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of start with that. Tell me a bit about your beginning, because I know your dad was an influence on you? And
He was. He had a karate school, but we also had a judo school. And so I took to judo. I started when I was 3. Became a state champ.
Where was that at?
This was in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is 1983.
Okay.
Okay. For our viewers here back then. So judo was big. In Indiana, it was a big deal still in the 80s. You remember judo kind of was like a thing.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, obviously, you know, with Chuck Norris and all the stuff that you did, that martial arts went through an evolution. And that was the pre-MMA time. And judo was one of the tougher sports, right? One of the tougher grappling sports. And I just took to it, and I was good at it. I won the state title twice. I would think I was 5 years old, and I was, you know, hitting Koshiguruma on guys and Ippon and people and winning tournaments. And the Olympic team came to our dojo when I was like 7 or 8.
Wow.
And yeah, right around 88. And said, oh, you're going to go to the Olympics. I remember my dad was so proud because that was my dream. I wanted to go to the Olympics in judo.
Yeah.
And that was just my sport. I mean, I even ended up taking my dad to Tokyo and going to the Kodokan. And we went there and they gave me a belt and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So I have a lot of love and reverence for judo. Obviously, judo kind of just died, right? And things morphed. And then you had karate. Yeah. Which is what I ended up kind of shifting into. I won the nationals 4 times, and karate kind of took a forefront. You know, Karate Kid, and you had Bloodsport, and you had all the great 80s stuff.
I know, man.
And there was no MMA. And then in 93, MMA had popped up where you were already doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I was doing, you know, had kind of stopped judo and was starting to really do more karate.
Mm-hmm.
And MMA popped up. But it was still like, well, if you were I was a national champion in karate. That was like you were the baddest kid in school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then MMA came and it was like a blip, remember, till like 96.
Yeah, yeah.
And it still kind of wasn't, you know, who's the toughest, what, how. And then I ended up doing other things and came back to martial arts in 2005, really.
Mm-hmm.
Started MMA again, and here I am in 2025. So it's really, martial arts has really dominated most of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talk about your career as an MMA fighter, like, cause I never talked to you about it. And a lot of times what's interesting is you can have great coaches who are not necessarily fighters, and fighters who are poor at coaching. Yeah. And I see you with a clean record.
Yeah.
And I see you as a very accomplished
Thank you
coach.
very much.
So if you can just give me some.
I think you kind of got to be good at something to tell people how to do it. Personally, I won a lot when I was young. I've won my whole life. In college, I won. I mean, I had a 3.8 GPA. I'm competitive. I won in bodybuilding. I won in judo. I won in karate. I won in jiu-jitsu.
There you go.
Yeah. And I think if you can't win, I don't know if you can teach people how to win. And I don't think you're genuine because you don't know what it feels like. So even your energy's a little off. They win and you're kind of, you just kind of don't belong to me. I know there's great coaches that haven't won. I'm not saying that. To me personally, my coaches were accomplished. They were tough. And I liked that. I got approached to do MMA, and my plan was to have 5 fights, fight once in the UFC, and then open a gym. I always wanted a gym because I love working out. I've been doing this stuff my whole life. It's what I know. It's like our family business, which you understand. So that was always my plan, and I knew being a fighter was very volatile. I knew that being a fighter was hard. But I also wanted to experience it and have those credentials, real credentials, and really understand what the journey was about through and through. And I feel so fortunate I got to do that. I went to Albuquerque, lived there for over 3 years, had Greg Jackson as my coach, amazing coach, Michael Winklejohn, Mike Van Arsdale, some of the pioneers, and lived the life of a fighter. You know, I mean, I was 3-0 amateur, 3-0 pro, did a bunch of jiu-jitsu tournaments. Greg made me do a bunch of stuff and just learned so much there. And I think that really shaped me to who I am today. And I'm really thankful that I had that opportunity to really live the life as a full-fledged athlete, you know, and be good enough to do it, as you said, right?
Yeah. From what I feel, you had a sense of purpose in a direction even before you got into MMA.
True.
You kind of had that idea. I want to serve.
Yeah.
I want to have my own gym. I want to pass on my knowledge.
That's it.
And you said you had some injuries that may have prevented you, or was that just part of the problem?
No, I tore my bicep. I fought on it 2 weeks later. I shouldn't have. I tore my ACL. I mean, I was just falling apart at 28 years old. I mean, I had, so many different things wrong. I ended up having 8 surgeries, and that was it, But from 3 years old to 28 years old, for 25 years to be cranking it, we got a room full of trophies, at the house.
What message does that give, though? Because some people, they have no idea the intensity of the training and what's required of a fighter.
Couple things, I think.
But then you have also the smart training, because I see some gyms that people get knocked out while in training,
terrible,
and others that
never
they
been
spar.
knocked out. Never been knocked out.
Yeah.
Couple things. I always say durability is one of those things. It's like a key, right? Speed, power, athleticism. You understand this as a great coach. Durability is one of those things. One of those things that you can't buy and you can't make. And that was my biggest downfall, was my durability. 25 years of hard training. I was very fortunate to have what I did, but to go very far in the sport, you need next level durability, because to get ready to fight, like as you said, in the UFC, probably one of the hardest things you can do physically as a human being. Incredibly difficult. Physically, the demand, the wrestling, the training. So I think it speaks to the demand of MMA, but I also think you touched on it, in a nice way. You got to know when to walk away. I was only 3-0. I was supposed to fight in UFC Abu Dhabi in like 2009. Because I'm Middle Eastern, the whole deal. They're going to bring me out and fight on the undercard, and I could have really fulfilled it. But even when I was here, I started training again, and I tore my meniscus. And I told my agent, Jahani, I said, don't ever call me again.
Wow.
About fights. I'm never doing it again. I'm done. And then I just took all that fire and energy that I had, all that wood I had left that I didn't burn in my fireplace, and I put it towards coaching. And I think that helped me being a young coach who kind of, didn't really get to do all of the things I wanted to fight-wise. And for a couple of years, I'd watch guys that I, thought I could beat, guys that I knew I could beat training, winning. And I'm like, man, I didn't get my chance. But now, Carlos, I look at it, what a blessing. God's timing is always perfect. For me, at the time, it was so hard. But now looking back on it, I probably would have never met Greg Seal. I never would have had that opportunity at Octagon, as being in a great neighborhood and building and having those few years to build what ended up being what is now Fortis MMA. So,
yep. So, Fortis MMA, Fortis, if I'm not mistaken, means strong in Latin, right?
You got it.
So, was that you wanted to name something that
I thought about it? Carlos Machado is a badass name, right? Like Carlos Machado. That just shit sounds good, right? Sayif Saud is a hard fucking name, but I would never change my name, because I feel strongly about my heritage, and you should claim your name. It's part of who you are.
Right.
And in Arabic, it means sword. Yeah. And maybe I wouldn't be so strong if I had a fucking different name, or I changed it to Sam.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want a gym named Sayif Saud MMA. But I wanted it to represent something I believe in, courageous. Fortis means courage, strength.
Yep.
And I thought Fortis, that's clean. Fortis MMA.
I like it.
And then the logo, the F, I shoot a lot, right? As we talked about. So that EOTech has the lollipop and the 4 little, right? So I was shooting that day, rifle. And I was like, I like the little lollipop, but I'll just put the F in the middle. And that's how I came up with the logo. So yeah, it's cool to have come up with something and to see people talk about, oh man, you have one of the best gyms in the world. You have the best gym in the world. It's crazy to have that dream and have trained at Jackson's, which was the best gym in the world, and to make that come to fruition yourself as a fighter first, and then kind of come up through the journey as a coach. Definitely fulfilling.
It's definitely, the martial arts is not an easy path.
No.
It requires a lot of you. The fighting career, it's unfathomable.
Yeah.
What people go through.
Yeah.
But you as a coach, I think you deal with your fighters, you build them up, and you follow through their personal lives. They become very
Yeah.
close to you.
Yeah.
Literally, they're family to you.
Yeah.
So you have to literally detach yourself from what you're seeing on the cage,
Yeah.
so you can be a good coach without letting your emotions
True.
run high. But I had a question. When you started Fortis MMA, was that at the same time that you started working at Octagon, or something that evolved after
Octagon, I worked at for 7.5 years.
that? Okay.
So I came there 2009. And Greg told me, God bless him. You remember Greg, obviously. He told me, I can't pay you, right? But if you can build a program up, I'll start paying you. So I had one student turn into two, two turn into three, three turn into four. And then it just kind of got built up. And then I got Matt Hobar. Remember Matt Hobar?
Yes, I remember him.
And, then I had him winning. And then I got him winning the legacy title. Then he went to the UFC. And it just kind of snowballed. So I stayed at Octagon for 7 years. But I knew I would want to have my own space and my own building. And Fortis was something I had in my head for many years. And many people came to me throughout, the time. But I just saved my money and worked on it quietly and had gotten the building. And the build out took about a year and a half, and got it really ready. And I think, a couple weeks before, I told Greg, hey, I'm going to leave. And that was it. We had no bad blood. And Fortis, Carlos has really been everything I ever wanted it to be, which is really, just a blessing. I really feel so grateful to be at this age now, 44, and kind of be on this side of it, and to have it become what it was and what I wanted it to be. And you know how that is. It's really, really a reassuring feeling to know all those decisions led to ultimately what you hoped it would be. And the athletes play a huge role in that.
Yep. So you have such a stable of so accomplished fighters and different weight divisions. And you had guys like Uriah Hall who literally relocated from the East Coast to train here. I heard that recently Diego Ferreira is now working with you, teaching the jiu-jitsu part. And you had Damon Jackson, who recently retired, but had a great tenure as a fighter. Jeff Neal, and now more recently, not as recent, but recently compared to the others, Brandon Moreno. And I remember the transition that he had to go through in the splitting with his former coach for the reasons at the time, and how you were able to step in as a stabilizing force. Which brings me to a question before we elaborate on that, about your philosophy, because I don't think you would be as successful as a coach if, besides your personality and what you believe in, your philosophy that you pass on to your fighters. So I'd like you to talk a bit about that.
Well, I mean, it comes very highly regarded coming from you, and it's very flattering to have you telling me that. I think it's really starts, I mean, this is cliche, but you're going to smile and laugh too. It's the love that you put in the guys. How much real work are you putting in? People know bullshit, man. They know it. They see it. You're doing great, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you got to tell people, you suck, man. I don't know if you're ready. I had a guy, I'm not going to name him. He just won, did a great job. But he had a couple, weeks before the fight, a practice where he was just came in the office and he was complaining. I just did terrible. I said, man, stop whining, dude. Get a hold of yourself. I said, these emotions are the reasons why you lost those few fights. You're getting emotional. Stop being freaking emotional. And he goes, I love you, coach. He goes, that's why I come to you. And I go, all right, well, because I tell you the truth. Sometimes people want you to tell them the truth, and fighting is so hard. You want someone to blame. You want to get upset because it's just like climbing a real steep mountain, right? It's already so tough. Sometimes you just want to yell at somebody. So I think coaches sometimes, they coddle these guys. They tell them what they want to hear, and people don't respect that. And having done it myself as a fighter, I know I loved it when my coaches told me the truth, like, hey, you know what, man, you're not really looking good, or you're looking weak, or, your transitions aren't good, or whatever. I always appreciated that and respected them and would work diligently to correct it. So my whole thing is truth, truth and love, right? I mean, I'm very honest with them. And I just tell them the truth. And I think that they do respect the fact that I know what it takes and I went in there and I did it. And I tell them that, this effort is not going to get it done. And this from being around, Steven and all the high level stuff, and especially being a world champion, you're not going to win at the highest level if you cheat this little bit. If you are lazy, that one day it's going to come back. It's going to get you.
Pay for it.
That 1 hour that you said, I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to get tacos today. I'm going to hang out with my chick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That other dude's running. He's on the road, man. He's doing the road work. He's focused. He's dialed in. He's laser focused on the assignment. And the assignment is beating your ass.
Mm.
And that's it. And you're checked out. And if you can check out and then think you can check back in, it doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. It's a 100% commitment. There's no way out. And that's why guys kind of get a little stir crazy. You need to step away sometimes, I think.
So that brings me to discipline. How much of a factor, or how do you look at yourself from a discipline perspective as a coach? If you, for instance, have a fighter that kind of gets off a little bit the line or doesn't follow through the, regiment the way it's supposed to be.
I don't really work with guys like that, because they lose. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to lose. Mm-hmm. And bullshit effort equals bullshit results. I mean, it really is pretty simple. Mm-hmm. And this. So when guys start cheating or not coming to practice, or I tell them, I'll give you a chance. You continue down this path, we're done. We're just going to part ways. And I've parted ways with a few guys. I know what's coming. If you think you can do this without putting in the work, here comes the downfall, right? Mm-hmm. Pride before the fall. I mean, and you just can't. So it's really easy to love people who put in the work and the grind, because MMA is just tumultuous. Mm-hmm. It's so hard. I mean, even the guys making a lot of money, it's still, for what it is, the how hard it is, man, it's tough. So whenever someone's putting in the real work, nothing needs to be said. It's such a natural discourse. Yeah. It's organic.
Yep.
It's an organic respect. We're both in it, man. We're both in the bunker together. We're like, we're going to win this war. And that's what it is. I mean, we're showing up to win a war and win and the other guy's either going to, he's going to take all your mojo, going to take your money, going to take your juice and move up, and we're going to be done, or you're going to stay relevant. It's not easy to do.
So that brings me to the mental part as well. Like, because being a coach, you can give the skill sets. How about the mental game? And how do you instill confidence on your guys if they are doing everything right? You have sometimes guys that are very capable, but they don't have the belief in themselves. Yeah.
I think that you do that with a lot of different things. Simulating in the gym, doing rounds, hard training, miserable training, I had Brandon doing 8 rounds for Pantoja, 8 rounds, 47 minutes, 49 minutes, new guy every time. I mean, miserable, because I knew Pantoja is a psycho, and he was. And the fight came down to the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, he was.
And I knew it. And
tight.
I knew it. Yeah. I knew it. I knew he would look at me in the middle of that camp like, God bless Brandon, because I have tortured that kid. I have tortured him in ways that most people will break. And I'm talking about, Figueiredo fight, I tortured him for us to win the title, to get it back. But the Pantoja camp, he would just be, and he would win. He would win 47 minutes, 48 minutes. Incredible. But there was Pantoja. Every time it looked like he was out, he could come back. And that's that level, the champion level, the high level.
Yep.
The highest level.
Small margin, isn't it?
Tiny detail, tiny margin. Brandon hit Figueiredo here, right over the glove, close the eye. We win an undisputed title. Maybe Figueiredo blocks that shot, comes back and knocks Brandon out, Yeah. And we never win the belt.
So since you brought him up, and I'm going to mention some of the other great notables of your camp, talk to me about that transition with Brandon Moreno, because you picked a guy who was in a total mess, chaotic, had a whole lifetime with a coach and this whole disruption of his camp.
Yeah, he did. It's unfortunate.
And you picked him up, and he had other coaches alongside you, But you seem like to be the stabilizing force.
Yeah.
He was listening more to you than anybody else.
It was unfortunate what happened, but the thing was, they came to me. Hunter had talked to his camp about it, his manager, Jason House, and Brandon about coming. He thought I would be the right person. So when they came to me, that camp was not going well. I mean, he was not looking ready to fight. And Jason wanted to pull him even. And because Jason really loves his guys. And I told him, Jason, give me 2 weeks. And so me and Brandon kind of had to synergize right away. But man, to his credit, we did. And we worked hard, 6.5 weeks, and really turned that around and went to Rio and really, I think, pitched a shutout. I mean, that was a beautiful fight. He controlled the whole fight. Scrambles, top position, stand up. And Figueiredo's dangerous. They had these close fights before, and that fight he dominated. And so the Pantoja fight was just kind of piggyback off that, right? And
how far apart were they?
That was in July, and that was in January. So we had to kind of get right back to work.
Uh-huh.
And that was an incredible fight. I think if that fight gets scored now, we win that fight off of damage. There was a lot of holding there, not really a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But nothing but respect. And then Brandon had the Royval fight where he just kind of wasn't there, mentally. And so then I had to rebuild him and get him back up with the Albazi fight. And now the Steve Erceg fight, 2 more main events. And the cool thing is to have won the title and then to have lost it and then have to build all the way back up and win the main events again and get right back. It's been a real journey of all the emotions. And I feel very fortunate, right? Because Brandon is probably the nicest kid that you could get. Salt of the earth, great dad, great person. Yes or no, sir. Like, what a gem. So I feel like God was like, you know what? Here's a diamond for you. You're lucky. Have a good day. So I feel fortunate to work with Brandon.
So is he now on title contention at this point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 2 main event wins. And I mean, the thing is, Brandon is a 2-time champion. We want to become the first 3-time champion ever in UFC history. Never been a 3-time champion. Same division.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Brandon's special, man. I think he's hitting his prime. I think he's the best fighter in 125. I think he's super entertaining. I think his stand-up is phenomenal. But Pantoja is a force, formidable.
Yeah.
He's formidable. And
he's a good strategist, isn't he? He strikes hard, and then all of a sudden he grapples. He has more than 1-2 on the box.
He's got a ton of willpower.
Yeah.
He's got that. He's got that willpower, man. And he's tough. There's nothing you can say. Again, it's like getting ready to just, you're going to get down to the nitty gritty and it's going to get ugly. And there's a lot of respect there between me and him and his coaches and Brandon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about the other guys? I know that Jeff Neal still, is he on the top 10?
Top 10. Jeff's number 10. I think Jeff just had elbow surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the best welterweight. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but
he has the strongest punch.
He's the last one to beat the champ.
Yeah.
And he beat Bilal, and I think that when he's on point, he's incredible. But when he's not, and so that's why he had the surgery. He had been fighting hurt. We would always fight this way, fight sick, fight. And it was always an excuse. And I said, man, he's the one. Said, I want to have the surgery. I don't want to do this half-ass. And he seems a little pissed off, right? Like, all right, I've had enough. I keep telling him, have you had enough? Are you ready to win the belt? Just let me know when you're ready. Because I think he can do it. So yeah, he's back in the gym. And then we have Macy Chiasson, who's about to fight. She's ranked number 3, I think, 4 or 3. She's fighting in the 31st. And then Kayla's going to fight Juliana. So I think if she wins that fight, she'll probably fight for the title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so Brandon's supposed to fight in Guadalajara, hopefully for the belt. So it just all depends on what happens. We got to see. Kai Kara France is going to fight Pantoja and on and on and on.
This episode is brought to you by Machado Method Nutrition, premium fuel for disciplined athletes who train with intent and recover with purpose. Live the method, fuel the life. Start now at machadomethodnutrition.com. So, tell me a bit more about Fortis right now, because you have your established stable. How do you spot good talent, and what kind of I wouldn't
Process.
say career path, but process you have in which
It's a good
you
question.
appeal, attract, and bring new people, new blood into the folder?
It's a good question, and it's cool because it's evolved, right? So Fortis, we have more wins than any other team in the Contender, 18 wins. So we've taken more guys and taken them to the UFC than any other team since the Contenders, origin, I think in 2017. So we kind of built our gym with the Contender, with the rise of the Contender. It kind of came up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a unique story. We've got guys like Uriah, guys like Brandon, but not a lot of guys that have come over to us that were already, vets.
So you literally built from
We
the
built
ground
them
up?
all, yeah. And
That's something.
that's
else.
something to be proud of, and it's special and different, right, than
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the other gyms, big gyms. But now we have an underbelly of these amateurs who they were like literally like fodder. We would just throw them to these, Jeff and all these Wolves and Spann and Alonzo and all these monsters. And these guys were getting whooped for years. Now I turn around and look at these guys, and
They
these
evolved.
guys are wet. Yeah, I see the old guys, kind of like the old dogs, and they kind of start running to the back of the yard, and the young dog kind of grows up a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
and kind of barking and biting a little bit more. And these young guys are coming up. And the young guys, I honestly feel like, and they'll hear this, the little shits, I feel like they are better than the old guys, but they just don't have the war experience that the
Yeah.
old guys have, the
They
mental.
haven't got the scars yet.
They don't have the scars yet. They haven't bled enough blood. And I don't know how they'll be under the lights because they're weirdos. This generation, they're so freaking sensitive and strange, and living through a screen. They can't take criticism and shit. Those older guys, they've been there and they did it under the lights, man. They've been in the UFC 10 years, some of them. 10, 15, 20 fights. Like, that's respect, man. When you live and breathe in the UFC and you swim in those waters for years, a decade swimming in the deepest waters in your sport, man, I mean, respect,
It can be deceptive, right?
Yeah.
The records, you see guys, we have sometimes several defeats
tough.
and several wins, but if you look at who they fought in the earlier stage of their
100%.
careers,
Dustin Poirier, this guy, that guy.
man,
Yes.
it's no joke.
No. Max Holloway got a loss to who? Dustin Poirier. Now and then look at them. They're both still there at the top. So there's so much there when you understand the game. And I'm so proud of Fortis but I'm excited about that new crop. I think that and I tell them, I said, if you guys can get under the lights and get it done, I said, there's a lot to be excited about.
So let's talk more about your day-to-day, because we're talking about your academy, your coaching career, your MMA, you had Greg Jackson, you had, your decisions. I don't want to have my body dealing with that. A lot of people have no idea that you competed in judo, you competed in karate, and despite the fact it was not MMA, you still have a lot of contact, a lot of wear and tear on your body. The time I hurt myself the most was doing judo.
Oh, yeah.
Because the landing on my shoulders, it was not fun to run. I hurt my toes a lot.
It's not fun.
The tatami that they used to have was the old Japanese straw with the canvas on top. It would burn your skin.
It's terrible.
And then when you practice with a partner, okay, let's throw each other 100 times each, body slam.
Yeah.
I felt my organs shaking for the whole time. So it was like a wear and tear.
It's like a car accident.
I try to play smart now when I do it as you get older.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm coughing a little bit. I
Go ahead.
something on my throat. Excuse me, guys. So, but you have to juggle like everybody else. I look at myself, and I think we have parallels in the way we live our lives. I have my academy, my association, my staff here, my associates that work with me, my personal life with my wife and 4 kids.
Yeah.
And I see how much you travel, how much time you have to spend on training camps and stuff. How do you juggle that?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sounds like Carlos been talking to my wife here, right?
Yeah.
Man, you don't, right? You don't really juggle it, and you try to fill in the gaps. So now I'm home for a few weeks, and I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with my family, trying to dote on my wife as much as I can, trying to kind of get that time back because you're gone finally going to be home for Mother's Day. I think it's the first Mother's Day in 3 years, right? I mean, I've been gone every Mother's Day, every birthday. When you're gone 50, 60, times a year, I mean, sometimes
That's true because you travel all over.
100%.
Right?
There's times where I go to 2 places in one day. That's why I said, there's so many trips. I mean, if we're having 30 or 40 fights, and then you got camps, for Brandon's, I went to Mexico City over and over again.
So when he does camp, he brings you in. He doesn't come to you.
It depends. He's come to Dallas 3 times, spent as much time here. He'll do whatever. But I've found that Mexico City, we went there because we needed to for the elevation. If we fight in Vegas, let's stay in Vegas, right? He's got Capetillo, an amazing
How long do you stay for every time you go?
It just depends. There's so much for the other fights that we can kind of build that in, right? I can see him for 2 days while I'm there for fight week. Just really depends on what the fight is. But yeah, with the vets, it's kind of just keeping them healthy in between. I mean, you don't want to be burning them out. But the real thing is I'm always kind of juggling the balls, and it's just about giving a lot of attention. Like, I'm not doing the show anymore. I was doing the show. I did over 40 episodes of UFC Breakdown, which was awesome. I had such a fun time. Never saw myself as an analyst, and so I enjoyed that experience a lot. But I was gone from the gym, and I felt like the gym was suffering. So now I'm putting all that energy back into the gym and the team. So it's constantly just shifting and trying to keep everything at 100%, which you can never do, but you just do your best.
So what's your coaching routine in terms of how often are you teaching?
So in the morning, I do, let's take you through a day. I get up about 4:30 every day because I have to be at the gym about 5:30 or 6 a.m. We have 6 a.m. classes, jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and I do privates. So I've been doing privates my whole life. I mean, since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, because I enjoy teaching people. And you connect and you get all these different relationships. Think how many people you know, Carlos, from privates. How many?
I always say that people don't realize this. Private classes, it's 100% also about relationships.
Yeah.
Because the clientele that you attract
High level.
can pay more money for
High level,
your time. They're usually people they're successful.
100%. And you're learning from them.
And you definitely have great relationships. I can attest to that.
Yeah, and you learn from them. You get to be around high level individuals, and they like to be challenged with what we're doing because what we're doing is so high level. So I do privates all morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Then we have pro practice at 9 a.m. lightweight, and then we have practice again at 10 a.m. middleweight and up. Then I come back at night. I do more privates, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Run all the stuff at the gym too. And then I have practice at 8, pro practice again. So I'm at the gym early in the morning, there all morning, and then again at night. And I think that's hard. That gets tough, as you understand, and but I always say the gym is like a plant. You got to water it all the time. And if you water it all the time, it stays real green, right? Real healthy. But if you ignore it for one day, it starts turning a little bit brown. 2 days, 3 days, a week. So you got the morning crew. It's a totally different crew than the night crew. I like to see everybody interact with everybody. That's what I always wanted. It's my dream. It's my baby. So I think that accountability is big.
Yeah. So this is your weekly schedule.
Oh yeah.
Day in, day out.
Day in, day out. And then when I go to the fights, I might coach all morning, do privates all day, and then leave at 3, and then sneak in there, go to Vegas, then get to Vegas, go to the weigh-ins, and then now we're doing our night workout in Vegas because we're getting ready to fight. Right. So it's whatever it takes, and it's I always say I work 8 days a week, not 7. I mean, I try to work literally. I try to break the day up into multiple parts, so that way I can do like basically a day's worth of work from 5 a.m. till 11 or 12. And then again, go back and have a day's worth of work from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m.
So Do you have time for fun at all, or hobbies? Or?
I do. You know, I have a ranch that we also train at. It's a training facility. We've got running trails and stuff. I shoot a lot. I'm a shooter. I've done some competitive shooting, and I've shot for 15 years. Did a lot with the SF guys. You know, we train a lot of the same guys. All the baddest ass guys always end up poking around. You know, we got Rangers and Special Forces guys and Navy SEALs. And so with that came, you know, some trades. And when I had my daughter, you'll like this. I always loved guns and shot them. I grew up in Indiana, but I never felt like, you know, I really needed to have them all the time. And I remember when I had my daughter thinking to myself, like, you know, you're in charge of this little girl's safety, like all the time. And if somebody came here with a rifle, you know, you'd have a problem. So I started taking it a little bit more seriously. And then the competitive side of me kicked in. And then I obviously didn't want to lose ever. So then I started to just go psycho and shoot like 4,000 rounds a week at TDSA and Ferris with Len Baxley. And then I did lessons and I started, and yeah. And so then it became really something that like I was one of my real skill sets. And I think it's good because as I get older and I can't really train.
That's hard.
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm not durable. I'm gonna break. I don't have the Machado genetics. So I can shoot. So I can shoot. I mean, I still fight. I sparred a couple weeks ago to beat one of my guys up. He was staring at me funny.
Yeah.
So I'll still spar every once in a while, but it's just not the same, you know.
Right. So what do you do for yourself to maintain yourself? Because you said
I train. Yeah, no, I still train. I still
you do weight training.
I still weight train 5-6 times a week. I still do cardio. I still run, do trail running, do all kinds of crazy shit.
Eat well.
Oh, 100%. Keep my weight within 20 pounds of my fight weight.
That's great.
190 pounds. I also I do lots of crazy shit still. And I mean, I still fight because you never know when you're going to get into some shit.
Yeah, you got to have a minimum degree of...
you do. You got to be ready to be violent.
Yeah.
You do. And I mean, you can't lie to yourself, right? And get comfortable. Oh, I'm a badass. And then you pull a hamstring because you haven't, you know, you haven't done sprints.
Even if you need to run.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Or run away.
Yeah, run away.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, the best part about getting older is the chip on your shoulder just gets smaller and you don't care as much. So...
Yeah.
You know,
I got you. Do you on your regiment? Because I know recovery nowadays is a big deal for your fighters when they fight.
For sure.
Like you go to Peak Institute that UFC made. I was there not long ago, and they had a grappling event called PGF.
Yeah.
Which I'm a board member of that. An amazing submission-based grappling event. Is exciting. My friend Brandon McCaffrey and his associate and partner Zoltan Batori, they kind of have that brainchild.
Everybody's trying to get that going.
Yeah, and but I got to take these grapplers with me. We went to the PI, and we were there. Just man, the hot tub. I love the
cold plunge,
the cold plunge, and the hot tub hot. And I was just bouncing off between the two. And then they have everything else you need for recovery. Red light, sauna, massage.
It's incredible.
And the cafeteria is like top notch.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I had the best meal there.
It's like a campus.
Yeah. But so my question is, whether it's for your fighters or for yourself, do you use any hacks in terms of recovery? Do you do saunas? Do you take any supplements, vitamins?
It really, I mean, truly, everyone's always like, man, you're in shape. 80% of how you look is what you eat.
Yeah, 100%.
80%.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is so synergistic, you know, when you start to look good, right? You want to do more. It's just like making money or anything else. The more you do, the more you want to get. And people work out hard. There's some fucking people that I'll see at the gym going hard. I mean, sweating and they're fat, and their fat is just blubbering everywhere. And I think to myself, man, they're working out hard too. But then they go home, and they drink, you know, this much orange juice and eat a turkey sandwich with mayonnaise and go, hey, I'm trying. I just had orange juice and a turkey sandwich. And they really don't know, you know, and you think, oh man, it's so, whereas I could not work out at all and eat a couple boiled eggs, right? And drink some water and get lean.
So you do the protein diet?
It's
your carnivore diet?
My thing is I only eat things that are really have one ingredient, right? So beef, eggs, apple, peanuts. Like I don't eat anything, and I'll eat carbs, rice, sweet potatoes, right? I'll eat some carbs, but I don't put a bunch of shit in it. I don't do any of that. And it's really pretty simple. And it's protein based, 200 grams of protein.
So from your bodybuilding era,
Yeah.
do you keep the macro count?
The good that
Do you do the calorie count?
It's funny that you brought it up because bodybuilding is so fucking hard with the food.
Yeah.
And so precise.
They eat 6 meals a day. They space it out.
I mean, you gotta look. You gotta wear fucking nothing and go up there and look perfect at the exact time. I remember when I started fighting, they're like, "Yeah, you just gotta weigh 170 and a half to 171." I was like, "That's it. I just gotta weigh. I don't even gotta look a certain way." I was like, "This is so easy." The body is all discipline with the mind and the hand and the mouth. That's it. And it really is not complicated. Not eating late, eating only protein as you get throughout the day, right? I can have breakfast, I can have oatmeal, I can have fruit, I can eat in the morning as I burn those carbs and calories throughout the day. Then I go to all protein based eggs, beef, chicken. That's it. And every night you have a decision to make. You sit there every night, right? Mobland is on your fucking show, whatever it is. Carlos got a show.
You look at the refrigerator.
You look at it.
Am I gonna rate it?
Yeah. You look at it. You look back.
Yeah.
You look at it. You look back. Your wife's asleep.
No, my wife usually watches with me, and she's bad. On occasion, she orders. She likes that chocolate ice cream bar or whatever. Once in a while, we'll have ice cream, and I say I'm not gonna have it, but man, it's right in front of me. Come on, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Come on, man.
It doesn't make life easy, does it?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So it's all habits, and I think is you got to hit the default once a year. I tell people you got to hit the default once a year, and it gets harder and harder every year. You know, you're so accomplished. You've done so much legendary stuff. And you tell yourself, I'm here with my wife, got my beautiful kids. You got a beautiful family.
Thank you.
And you're sitting with your boys. I want to fucking enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But the problem is you slowly decay yourself.
Yep.
It's like a rock chipper.
It's the same thing with the fighters. You skip one day.
You slowly
decay. Then you skip the next. Yeah,
you slowly accept mediocrity, and then before you know it, this is who you are.
Yeah.
And you look at that kid up there, you look at that young dude in Brazil.
How can I keep that guy going?
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
That guy is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Young Carlos Machado is a fucking monster. Where's 14-year-old Carlos Machado?
I like that parallel that you made because a lot of times people put pictures who they want to become.
Yeah.
Like where I am and who I want to become.
No.
I have me here. I put a picture of who I was.
Yeah.
And I want to bring that guy back.
Because that guy was the guy that fucking scratched, clawed, and ripped his way from all the way in Brazil to Dallas, Texas, to training Chuck Norris, to doing all this shit, to becoming Carlos Machado. That young, fiery guy. That's the guy.
I don't look back and think about
as
it happens. Just when people remind me of this or that.
But that's the guy.
Because you are in the midst of it. Yeah. You're just kind of going, right?
But I always tell my fighters that. I said, you need that young kid, 14, 15-year-old.
Can't lose track of the young kid.
That's the lion.
That's the fire.
That's the lion, yeah. And when the lion dies, you're done.
So you, yourself, Fortis, your fighters, what is the future? What are some of your goals? What do you see because it's easy for us to get settled, like you said, to be complacent and have that feeling, I already got all I needed. Yeah. And I think the minute you think you got it, that's the minute you start dying.
You die.
Because stagnation for me is death.
You're growing or you're dying. I always say that.
You know what I'm saying? So, and this is something that a lot of times guys that accomplish your status, they fall prey to it because once you get it, you feel you're on the top of the mountain and there's nothing else to do or more to climb. And then instead of looking forward or up, you start to look behind, So, what do you see ahead?
That's a good question. I've got a couple.
And don't tell me anything that you shouldn't
No,
disclose right now.
No.
If you are
No.
gonna do any big contract or anything,
No.
don't tell me
I got
until it happens.
I got a couple of simple.
But
Number one is I've got 2 daughters.
hey, that's legacy.
Let's just start right there.
Mm-hmm.
One is 11, one is 14.
Wow,
Well, we both know daughters cost what?
they cost.
They cost. They cost.
That's an investment. Come on.
And
Yeah.
I tell my daughters, I work for them, you know? I mean, I literally, and my little one, she goes, yeah, that's right. I'm like, you know, I mean, I'm a pretty tough and rough guy, you know? Mean, been through a lot, man. Been through a lot. Those girls, they tell me run, jump, move, sit. Okay, all right. It's a love. It's a different love,
Yeah.
a daughter's love. I don't know what having boys is like. God didn't want that for me. I think I know why. And I'm telling you, I mean, those girls, they got me so wrapped around their finger. So I got to work for that. I mean, at least another, 8, 10, 9, I don't know. That never ends, right, Carlos? Is that forever?
I don't think it ends.
I don't think it ends. So I got more money to make for them. 2, I'm 44. And I did say I was going to stop when I got 100 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at 102, which
Wow.
is amazing. UFC, phenomenal. Did an article and gave me all this love and stopped in a broadcast. And it was cool. It was a very cool accomplishment because I felt like 100 wins. I mean, man, that's it. You know?
It's amazing, man.
But now to only be 44, what am I going to do? You know? So, you know, what level can we win a world title again? Can we win multiple world championships?
Satisfy you.
Yeah. I don't know if I never get sick of winning. I love winning.
Mm-hmm.
Winning is something that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it my whole life. I like to win at everything I do. So I don't know if that was gone, if I would need to fill that. I don't know. I can't answer that question really 100% right now.
It's not necessarily about you stop. What you're doing is different people at different stages, they reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I have guys that they write a book. I think you have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, I do want to write a book about the 100, and each, you know, I mean, each fighter is really a chapter.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a great idea.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think that, I mean, there's still more to do. I think coaching and teaching and what we do is kind of our service, right? Like, I feel like we know some stuff and we have gotten all this experience to pass down to people and to chat with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of a service.
You know, you brought something. I want to just touch on this real quick, and I hope Roger doesn't mind. And Roger, I'm going to ask you if you want to pitch in some feedback or questions of your own. But and this, of course, not with names or anything. You know, martial arts, fighting. I compared that to a warrior culture.
Yeah.
You know, and
Machado.
in the warrior culture, loyalty means life or death.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you see people in the military that once they come back, one of the things they miss the most is the camaraderie of a different kind. Because they know whoever they had out there who are comrade of themselves, they could count on them to save their lives. They knew that if their lives were at risk, they would have somebody that would be watching their back at any given time that they could always count on. But now, of course, transferring that to, let's say, a gym culture or a society at large. We're coaches. You care about your people you love.
Yeah.
But we see the MMA culture and sometimes the martial art culture. There are 2 types. One, they have a sense of belong. They're attached to the group. And others, they are roamers. They roam. They wander.
Gym hoppers.
Wanderers. Yeah, hop. They hop.
Gym hoppers.
So they just, and in life you have give and takers. Some people give and take. Sometimes you give more and take less. Sometimes the other way. But then you have guys that give a lot, which you seem to be the case from what I saw.
Yeah.
I want to believe I'm kind of like that as well.
Yeah.
I want to give, and sometimes I don't stop to realize if I'm being taken advantage of at a point in time, because it should be at least
But here's what I
a
would
two-way
say.
deal.
Here's what I would say. We're in this beautiful facility, amazing, toured it, right? I mean, the little instructional space and gear. I mean, this is special. This could be a gym, and it's just a headquarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're Carlos Machado. It's always worked out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes or no?
Yeah, I feel
But why?
when your intentions are
That's
good,
right.
and
Then
of course
exactly.
you're in alignment with your purpose.
If
the
you
ones who want to take advantage of you actually are the ones who are losing.
I'm a believer, and I believe things happen distinctly for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it so much in my life. People will say, "Oh, what do you think?" I've seen it in my own life. I believe through my own life. This is my belief.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that God kind of gives you. I mean, what an amazing life to be Carlos Machado. Like I've been saying, I've been hearing about you since I got here, right? Like I've been hearing this name over and over again, and you know how it is. We run Dallas pretty good. You know, we get pretty good seats to the game. We know everybody, all from doing what we love, martial arts. I mean, what a life. What an amazing life. What a gift.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt you earned it, but it's lucky too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when you give, you get.
100%.
And I think that when you stop, even though you want to stop, even though you get screwed over, which I was chatting with you about that earlier, it just, that's when things break down. It's just not who we are. So I don't even think about it now.
Yep. I agree with you, and I move on, and we got our learning. I think you develop a keen eye to detect things faster and realize when there are red flags. Relationships not always necessarily will be the same. There are cycles. Some people that will be in your life could be family, could be friends, could be students, and things don't always remain the same. But I know you are at peace, and I believe I am at peace
100%.
with the fact that
that's intention.
anytime things went wrong with a relationship, whatever I contributed, my intention was always to do good.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I was not the one who had the action to undermine somebody.
I don't think you get to be a legendary guy if that's the case, right? And yeah, everyone always has this guy and that guy, but I don't think you can really accomplish consistently for that long if you're a bad guy. And so people can't really consistently run the race. You know, it's something that's always surprised me when I'll see somebody, and you know, I'm younger than you, so I'm learning. Well, I'll see somebody and I'll think something of them, 8 years, 9 years in, and then they'll do something and I'll go, wow, I didn't see that. And I'll chat with someone like you and you'll say, well,
things happen.
Yeah. And you'll say, hey, bud, it's all right. And it's like, you're like, just walk it off. And I'm like, well, yeah, and I'm like, man, wow, 8 years, 9 years, and you still, but then I do a little more research internally. And I think, I always did know that guy was kind of a bitch.
Yeah, when you look back.
Yeah, when I look back, I actually kind of did know. So, yeah, I think,
you got your gut feeling.
The thing about life is, my mom told me this, great advice. There's something great with every age. There is. How old are you now?
61.
61. Look at the beautiful haircut. Same haircut. Look at that.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Beautiful haircut. No, you ain't. Right? 61. It's looking great. It's looked the same for 20 years. Okay. Would you want to be any other age? No, I absolutely believe no. Why? The amount of contentment, you even look content. The amount of wisdom and contentment and peace that you have, that it's taken you to get to this place at 61, that you've acquired, right? Priceless. And it's the same. I'm 40. I would not want to be 24.
Yeah.
I would not want to go back.
Imagine.
Would you want to go back?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Maybe I want to have no, I guess a lot of the things that I want, I can still have it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going back into, I think mainly what we want is time.
Yeah.
Time to spend with those we love, time to do the things we care. But Roger, pitch in, man. You have the man here.
I am curious on you as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, and me as an academy owner, Carlos as an academy owner, I'm curious for all the coaches out there, the guys who aspire to be coaches. You as a leader of fighters and a fighter yourself, What do you do to keep your mental edge sharp for your fighter so you can be that servant leader? And then I'm curious about your philosophy on servant leader.
Yeah, you got to do tough shit, and I do that all the time. Like I lift all the time, or I'll make my guys lift with me, and then he'd be like, what's up, man? You know what? You can't do this. You can't do this much weight. I will do things physically with them because that's important to people, especially men, when they can see that you physically can do something. That impresses them. Number 2 is consistency, right? I'm always there. I'm always around. I'm no matter what. If I'm on TV or if I had a big moment or something big happen, I'm at the gym. If I have surgery, I'm at the gym. If I have something big happen, I'm at the gym. Like it doesn't matter. I always go to practice because I believe that showing up is such a big deal.
Yeah.
Your presence shows that you care, when you never think you're a big deal. So I think that those things, leading from the front and consistency, I think is really big.
About I should have been more specific. That's a great answer, by the way. What about tape? Do you study
Oh, yeah.
tape, or do you travel to go to like Thailand to
No.
I don't know. Just
No.
anything.
Yeah.
out there
Well,
like that.
video. So with what we're doing, when we have 23 athletes in the UFC, and each of them's fighting 3 times a year. I mean, you're there all the time. I mean, you're constantly getting a look all the time. And the sport's evolving. Every 6 months it evolves, for God's sakes. These young new kids coming out, right? I mean, they've grown up doing it. Whereas back in the day, they just did ground fighting, right? Where Travis Lutter is just a ground guy. His stand-up wasn't good. Now, guys are good at everything.
Yeah.
Even the Chris Weidman days. I mean, that's years ago. That's eons ago.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Wonder Boy was incredible just 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's still incredible, but I'm just saying the sport is moving so quick.
Isn't that something?
So quick.
How long? Do you remember, like when we had a guy like St. Pierre or Anderson Silva that kept the belt?
That was 2000.
So many defense.
Never going to happen.
And you see, nowadays,
I feel so
Poitin,
incredible to have won a belt on flyweight in 2023. I feel like that's hard to win a title in the UFC now and to keep it or like Pantoja to defend it. Oh man. I mean, it's going to get increasingly tough. So 2 things. 1, we're watching the UFC all the time. 2, I mean, getting paid from the UFC to break down their biggest fights for 3 years. Obviously, it's something that I'm good at, that I spend time on. I think that the real key, though, as a coach, is how do you get ahead? How do you not watch a tape and be reactive? How do you get ahead to your athletes and say, hey, we need to start doing this shit right now and kicking the, kick the instep or feint this and do this. Yeah. How do we get ahead? How do we see the patterns and get ahead and start organizing our practices, organizing our sessions to start acquiring the skill sets to get ahead in competition? I think that's the key.
Last one I got. I want you to look at that camera and talk to any wannabe, aspiring MMA athletes out there. And then, any of them. That could be a jiu-jitsu athlete, could be a judo guy, could be anybody who's in a combat sport, but more particularly for the aspiring kid who thinks they want to be an MMA fighter. Hearing it from somebody who gets people all through the door.
It's a setup question right here.
I think this is their chance.
It's a great question, but it's a setup.
Yeah, I have one more after that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Take it
All
away.
right.
This is a wise man here because he's basically trying to tell them how hard this is going to be. This journey is going to be. It's going to be hard. And I always tell kids when they come in, I want to go to the UFC. I said, you're going to make no money. You understand? You'll make no money all throughout. If you get lucky enough to make it to the UFC, you'll still make no money in the beginning of the UFC. So what other job are we doing? Where are we going to school? Where's our balance at? I'm really big in balance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do better at fighting if it's all you do. And I learned this when I was training. All I was doing was training. And my whole mindset was, I need to just train. I just need to train. I need to train. That's not true. The more balance that you have in life, the more things you do, the less stress you have on the fight, the less stress you have on, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to win. And when you put all that stress in one basket on fighting, you actually do worse, right? You know, your nerves and the consequences are so big, they can kind of crush the person under the stress of the moment. So we want balance. Balance is the best way. So go to school, get a job, stay balanced.
Yeah, you have to have a backup. It reminds me of actors, because a lot of times, they don't make enough money in the beginning of their careers, and they have a lot of near misses, hit and miss. And a lot of them, the ones that succeed, they always had some fallback upon kind of plan
100%.
or job. Like Harrison Ford was a waiter.
Yeah.
It seems like in Hollywood, a lot of people wait on tables because they make some tips and
You got to do something. You got to stay busy.
Yeah. But since you mentioned that, I saw an episode of one of the YouTube documentaries. There's a reporter that went to Brazil to interview the fight nerds. Seems like they're having a good success with their school. They talk a lot about their approach, how they study things, the scientific approach. I don't know.
Looking at film.
Heard of them or what your opinion is?
No, I think I talked to Kyle actually. I think studying film and looking for habits, looking for, fighters have certain things they like to do, right? I mean, and when I used to do the show, that's all I would do is I would study the tape. I would look at every little thing. This fighter throws the jab and then he can throw the low kick. He'll throw the jab sometimes. He'll throw the front kick. He'll throw the jab. He'll feint the kick and then throw the two. So he's interchanging these three things, but they all start with the jab, right? So then you can tell your athlete, hey, like once he throws his jab, one of these things is coming after that. So let's counter first or XYZ, right? So 100%. And I think longevity in the sport, continually winning is really hard. And I think it's going to require film study and all the rest, like you were saying. And if people don't do that, I don't think they're going to be on top or not for long.
Yeah. If people want to learn about you, about Fortis, anything that you're doing, although we're going to have everything listed with all the credits, I'd like you to tell if somebody wants to find.
Yeah, I mean, FortisMMA.com if they want to check out the website. Our IG is Fortis MMA. I think Fortis_MMA. And then my name is Sayif Saud on Instagram. The gym is pretty full. I mean, we keep it, small. Like I said, it's kind of a private setup. We've got Fortis MMA Lakeside, which is growing. I'm happy to help whoever I can. And there's people that reach out and ask me all these questions and, talk to the UFC for me and blah, blah, blah. Guys, that is not a thing. I mean, it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
To his question, I mean, this is a hard journey, and I think if you can find success with a gym, with the community, with building a network, with getting a job within the community from your network, from martial arts, you're successful. If you can get any type of living or anything off of that network and build off that community, that's success. It doesn't have to be fighting in the UFC.
Gotcha.
And I think even if the guys do fight in the UFC, they still need to do all those other things to build that balance and a happy life. So that way, when they're not fighting, it's not so dramatic, and take the best parts of MMA or it will take it from you. I always tell people that you've got to take, from MMA or it'll take from you. And you've got to treat it like that, like a dangerous woman. You got to be real. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
There you go. That's a great lesson. Well, Sayif, I can't thank you enough for
My
this
pleasure.
awesome conversation. I would like to, maybe in the future, after you go for your next trips and all the experiences, to continue carrying on because you have so much to tell.
Absolutely.
And for me, this was a learning experience, to say the least, because it's easy to know a bit about you by what I see you doing and by what I hear other people saying about you and the little research that I did right there, all the little things.
You.
But having the hands-on experience, nothing beats that. So
I told you, whenever Carlos Machado calls you, you answer the phone.
Thank you. Roger, once more, thanks for your help. All you guys out there, Coffee Time with Carlos Machado. Stay on.